One thing you don't see much of nowadays is a response video aimed at me. Back in the day there were 10 a penny with all the flat earthers having a go. So imagine my absolute delight when recently I found one. Hello all and welcome along to another video with me, Simon Dan. Thanks very much for joining me. Right then, let's get on with today's video, which comes from a channel called Uthink. The host of this channel has found one of my YouTube shorts and he is not happy. Let's have a look, shall we?
Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how a flat earther asks an excellent question and how science, Simon Dan, fails to answer the question.
Okay, I will caveat this quickly by saying that usually my YouTube shorts are designed more for entertainment purposes rather than for educational. I leave that to the long form videos like this one.
So a big part of being a flat earther, like myself, is that we have to sift through the information and the answers that we are given. Some people have got the Google goggles on. They don't think or reason, they just accept what's given to them. And so flat earthers aren't like that. We have a reputation of not trusting science or trusting Google. Some people can't see why that's a problem. So I'm going to demonstrate to you in this video of Simon Dan and demonstrate his answer. So let's listen to the excellent question by the flat earther and let's see what Simon Dan has to say.
Flat earthers do have a reputation for not trusting science, yes, but it's not necessarily something to be proud of. Science isn't a set of opinions. It's a method that produces consistent testable results. Rejecting science because you don't like the answers doesn't make the evidence go away. It just means you're closing yourself off from the tools that can help you understand the world around you. Let's have a look at this short of mine then, shall we?
I just want to ask you a question. If this is us in 1 year, and we're over here, and we're seeing the Milky Way that way, okay? Why is it when we go around the other side of the sun, that when we're looking at the sun, that should be the Milky Way that way, but we still see it over this side? Can you explain that?
Yeah, because you can also look up, not just out. And you can look up all year round. Funny that. Dear oh dear.
Now, as I said, this response was pretty quick and on the side of snarky for entertainment purposes. If it was a long form video like this one, this is how I'd answer that. We are inside the Milky Way galaxy, which means it surrounds us in all directions. When you say, if we're on one side of the sun, shouldn't the Milky Way look the other way? That assumes it's only in a single strip that we pass by. But that's not how it works here on Earth. We can look up or down relative to the plane of Earth's orbit. It's not just out from the sun. From those directions, the view of the Milky Way remains consistent no matter where you are in orbit. Then we must think of the Earth's orbit itself. It's tiny compared to the scale of the galaxy. Moving from one side of the sun to the other is a change far too small to affect viewing something as large as the Milky Way. I hope that makes a bit more sense.
So did Simon Dan actually answer the question? He did not. And I'm going to look at it and I'm going to show you why. And why it's important for you to reason and think for yourself. If you don't think and reason for yourself, you're just trading in your integrity and personal freedom for a shallow answer, and in the process your life becomes worthless. They want to convince you that you and your life, you're just a random accident with no purpose in life.
And there it is, the real reason he's making this video. He wants to feel special. Well, let me tell you, you are special just by existing.
And if you believe that nonsense, you're going to become a fool that's misled and a slave bound by their strings. They will control you. So let's deal with Simon Dan's answer. He just says you need to look up and you can look up all year round. Well, that answer shows the failure in the heliocentric model.
Does it though? I can't wait to see where he's going with this.
So how can we broaden the perspective to see what the issue is and to get an answer? So we can get 2 points of reference to widen our perspective. We've got the Milky Way galaxy and the North Star. So how can these help us to see that we've been lied to about the universe and the world that we live in? So remember the question that this person asked, right, is how do you see the Milky Way galaxy? If the Milky Way galaxy is on your left-hand side and you are orbiting the sun, then you must be, the dark side is on the opposite side, so 6 months later you must be looking away.
Take a look at this. This is the night sky from North America in the summer. As you can see, the Milky Way stretches right across the whole sky. Now, here it is in the winter in the same location. As you can see, the Milky Way is so vast you can still see it. So the Milky Way doesn't disappear, we just get different views on it depending on the time of year.
Now according to Simon there, in his answer, you just look up. Well, there's the problem right there. Right, so here's a picture of the Milky Way galaxy. Right, there's our sun. That is your region that the Earth is orbiting the sun. We can see from this picture it's nonsense, right? I mean, who took this picture, for goodness sake? It's supposed to be millions and gazillions of light years across this. So who took the picture?
No one. It's a representation of the Milky Way and our place within it. I thought that was obvious.
So let's look at actual video footage. And it answers our question. It proves that the Earth is flat. We're not living on a spinning ball. Here's the video footage. Right, it's taken from Namibia. It's a time lapse and the stars are orbiting, and there's the Milky Way galaxy. The person didn't film the North Star, but we know that it's in that vicinity.
Well, it's not, because you can't see the North Star from Namibia. And that's because Namibia is in the southern hemisphere and there's a bloody big planet in the way.
And the stars are orbiting around the North Star. So is the Earth turning or the stars turning? Right? You can work it out. Remember, we've got 2 points of reference. So the North Star must line up with the axis of the Earth's rotation. So the Milky Way galaxy, if it's on your left-hand side, at night time you must see the North Star and the Milky Way galaxy in front of you as the Earth rotates.
Now, as we've already stated, Polaris would be below the horizon in this time lapse. So the apparent rotation of the stars will be centered on the south celestial pole instead. The Milky Way being on your left at night is just your personal perspective. As Earth rotates, we sweep our night view across different parts of the galaxy. So the Milky Way appears to move through the frame just like any other celestial object. Sometimes it seems to rise diagonally from the horizon, sometimes it arcs overhead, and sometimes it sets. It's just like any other collection of stars or constellations. What you notice as being to the left in one part of the night sky can be overhead a few hours later. It's simply the result of Earth's daily rotation. And in the case of the Milky Way, it's so big you pretty much always see it.
So can you see the Milky Way galaxy above your head? If the Milky Way galaxy and the Sun and the Earth are on the same ecliptic plane? The answer is no.
What he's doing here is mixing up two different planes. The ecliptic plane is the path of Earth's orbit. It's where the sun, moon and planets appear to travel across the sky. The galactic plane is the disk of the Milky Way. These two planes are tilted relative to each other around 63 degrees. So your argument is actually incorrect here.
6 months later, you must see the North Star in front of your camera. The Milky Way galaxy must be behind you. Remember? So can you see the North Star with the Milky Way galaxy? No. During that 6 months, sees the North Star and the Milky Way galaxy for the entire year. It tells you that the heliocentric model is a lie.
Polaris, the North Star, is a completely separate issue. Its position is determined by Earth's rotation axis, not Earth's orbit. Because Earth's axis points very close to Polaris, it stays in roughly the same place in the night sky all year round. The Milky Way, however, stretches across the sky at an angle to the ecliptic, so different sections of it are visible in different seasons. Now, far from disproving the heliocentric model, the fact that we can see both Polaris and the Milky Way throughout the year only makes sense on a globe.
So if you're on this side, on the dark side of the Earth, you have to see the North Star in front of you and the Milky Way galaxy in front of you, above you, according to Simon Dan, but the Milky Way galaxy has to be behind you. So do you see? Simon Dan is just a dumbass minion. Alright? He's just a puppet. And he wants you to become like him, a dumbass puppet.
Well, that's going to prove me wrong, isn't it? So far, he's misunderstood the entire night sky and called me a puppet. Great debunking.
So, look, it calls into question the education system. So let's just chat quickly about it. I'm an artist. I'm not a big fan of the education system.
So you're an artist and you don't like the education system, but you're sure the earth is flat. Can you see the problem with that?
I'm a parent. I have 2 daughters. So, as a parent, you invest a significant amount in your child's education. But what's the point if they still can't tell the difference between truth and trash? Then they're a kid. Because all you'll ever do is you'll find goats on a rubbish heap, and a goat doesn't care what it eats, it just eats rubbish. And who did this to your children? The education system did it. So you need to help your children to reason and think for themselves. Help them to understand that their questions and their answer have a value to them as individuals.
Well, you see, I'm a parent too, my friend. I think we can all agree that helping children learn and reason for themselves is important. Where I disagree on is the idea that the education system is feeding kids rubbish. Schools teach the foundations of science and maths and reasoning precisely so students can tell the difference between truth and misinformation. If you had to push me, I would say the education system doesn't do enough of that. So what you've done here is fail to debunk a short that I made in good humour, and in the process show you have no understanding of the heliocentric model. Well done you. Well, there we go everyone. What do we think of that one? Good? Or just awful? Let me know in the comments below. As I say, we're all done and dusted for another one. Thanks so much for watching today. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the thumbs up button too, and sharing as well if the feeling takes you. Thank you. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow for a man that thinks that Mars once experienced an all-out nuclear war. See you then.